What up guys, it's Markin. In today's video, we're going to learn how to play Lissandra in under 5 minutes. Now the most important thing you need to know when learning a new champion is their abilities. Now we're going to start off here with Lissandra's passive. Lissandra's passive ability is called Iceborne. As you can see, every 18 seconds her next ability costs no mana. This is an amazing passive for laning. You can essentially harass the enemy laner for free every 18 seconds. Also, for every enemy you hit with a slow or snare ability, your passive cooldown is reduced by 1 second. You can see that Lissandra hits 4 enemies with her W, taking 4 seconds off the passive's cooldown. Lissandra's Q is called Ice Shard. It's a skill shot. When it hits an enemy, it shatters, dealing damage and slowing the target for 1.5 seconds. The shards then pass through the target, dealing the same damage to other enemies, but not slowing them. This is an amazing lane harass tool. You never have to be out of position to poke your opponent. As you can see, I'm using Kat's own minions to take the direct hit and hitting her with my shattered shards. I can keep my distance, stay safe, and at the same time, hit her with insane damage. Lissandra's W is called Ring of Frost. It's an AoE stun. As you rank it up, the duration of the stun increases from 1.1 seconds to 1.5. This is a great ability to use when you're forced to farm under tower. It can be used offensively or defensively. This is an amazing teamfight ability as well. If you position yourself in the middle of the enemy team, you can stun and damage all 5 enemies, creating huge plays for your team. As I gank bottom lane, I notice Corki and Leona pushing the turret. I wait until I'm in the range of both of them, W, stun them both, allowing Yi an easy double kill. In this clip, as I'm taking their bot tower, Leona slows and stuns me. I immediately W, stunning Leona in place. This allows me to get to safety as my team charges in for the kill. Farming throughout the game is incredibly easy with this ability. Walk into the middle of a gathering of creeps, W, and watch your CS climb up. Lissandra's E is called Glacial Path. She creates a claw that moves forward in a line. This deals damage to all enemies it hits. At any point while the claw is moving, you can cast the spell again to teleport to the claw. This is an amazing ability to avoid ganks and to get to safety at any point in the game. In this clip, I'm taking their mid turret while still putting harass on Kat. Even though she's low on health, she comes back in. I use my E to teleport behind her, leaving her no option but to try to fight. I get the easy kill. While ganking bottom lane, I need to make up a lot of ground to make this a successful gank, i.e. into their back line, creating an enormous play for my team and picking up a double kill for myself. Lissandra's R is called Frozen Tomb. If cast on an enemy, it will stun them for 1.5 seconds. Magic damage will then spread in a circle around her, dealing damage and slowing any enemy it hits. If you cast this on yourself, you become untargetable, but unable to take any actions for 2.5 seconds. Magic damage then spreads, dealing the same damage and slows as if cast on an enemy. I approach Kat from the back, knowing that she's alone and a huge damage dealer. I want to cast my ult onto her, so she is stunned and unable to escape or deal damage to me, giving me the advantage. Now let's get to the skill order. I take a point in all 3 skills my first 3 levels, starting with Q. I always max Q first for the great harass in lane and low cooldown. Next, I max W. Not only does it lower the cooldown, but it extends the length of the stun and damage output. Lastly, I max E. I mainly use this spell as an engager or escape, so the cooldown is not as important to me as W. Some people prefer to max E over W as well. It's just personal preference. As always, take a point in R whenever available. Now let's get to the item build. I like to start with the Doran's Ring and 2 health pots. This gives me added damage, health, and mana regen. Early game, if everything is going normally, I like to pick up a second Doran's Ring. I pick up my base boots as well. There could be some ganks or people making plays, and boots can make the difference. Next, I like to rush a Seeker's Arm Guard. Why? A Seeker's Arm Guard? Because it builds into a Zhonya's Hourglass. The first core item I rush is Zhonya's. It works incredibly well with Lissandra. As Lissandra, you can initiate teamfights. You can E in, ult yourself, and then use the Zhonya's active once your ult wears off. What this does is slows every enemy you hit and makes you untargetable for 5 seconds. The enemy team will be wasting all of their damage dealing abilities on you, while the rest of your team annihilates them. Next, I'll pick up Sorcerer's Shoes for the added damage. After that, I'll either pick up a Morellonomicon for added damage and cooldown reduction, or an Athene's Unholy Grail for slightly less damage, the same cooldown, but a heavy amount of magic resist. Pick up an Athene's if you're going against a strong AP assassin that's giving you a hard time. Late game is heavily dependent on how the game is going. Generally, I pick up a Rabadon's Death Cap next for the insane damage spike it gives you. Next, I'll either grab a Rylai's Crystal Scepter for the damage, health, and slow, or an Abyssal Scepter for the damage and magic resist. As my final item, I almost always take a Void Staff. By this point in the game, most of the enemy team will have some sort of magic resist, and this will just shred through them. Lissandra is one of my favorite champs to play, and I hope you can see why. The utility she has is second to none, and she's one of the best all-around mid laners in the game. She can disrupt, make plays, and be safe at all points in the game. Get a couple of kills early, and it will be tough for anybody to stop you. If you're looking for a mid-lane champion who works amazingly well with any team comp and who can create plays throughout the game, Lissandra is your champ. I hope you enjoyed the guide. Let me know in the comments section anything you would do differently and why. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay active.